Hi, good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of You Ask and We Answered. I'm John Stapley and I am the Head of Maths, Data and Assessment here at Founders School. So I'm going to talk to you today about the assessment procedures here at schools. I know there's been a lot of questions. The procedures we're using at the moment, it's all based around the age-related expectation, otherwise the ARE. This is a system it's an ongoing assessment by the teachers throughout the year, continually, and the idea that assessments build up. These are directly linked to each of the year group's objectives within the English National Curriculum. So how does it work? Obviously we start at term one, we're moving through all the way through across the year, and we have a total of the objectives covered that we'll be covering over the year. So as our students move through, we will be expecting them to increase their skills. So we have a terminology. We expect our students to go through the emerging phase, through the developing phase, and we expect them to be secure. We hope they'll be secure at the end of the year. What next? Well, I'll come on to that in a little bit. So emerging. What does emerging look like? As we said, it's beginning to develop an understanding of the year group's curriculum objectives. There could be many reasons. We would expect children every year at the beginning of the year to be emerging. Some students may still be emerging into term three, possibly into term two, and possibly into term three. Why, you might be thinking? Well, if we have a student who is quite a way behind, has maybe got gaps in their education, that we're bringing them up to the standard of the UK curriculum. Once they pass through emerging, they're getting to the developing stage where they're making progress. They're developing their understanding of the year group's curriculum objectives. As we said, a child may be at different stages in different objectives. Some of their objectives they might be emerging in, some developing, they might be secure in one or two, but again, it's a best fit as to where our teachers will be placing your child in their judgment. We are aiming for our students to be secure in their understanding of almost all of the end of year objectives for each subject within the year group. But what next? What we hope is that we lead to mastery. And a mastery is a deep and thorough understanding of the year group's objectives. If thinking maths, it's that ability to reason. For maths specifically as a subject, what we want is procedural fluency. We want children to be numerate with numbers, be able to have fast recall of times tables. We want them to be able to problem solve leading on, and we want them to be able to reason with that as well. And I'll give you an example of what we mean. A little assessment here I've got from Kangaroo Maths, which is something that we're using in school, and we can see here. So we have the fluency, the procedural fluency from Year 6 Maths, working with a little bit of algebra here. We're able to calculate these. We want children to explain misconceptions. Why is somebody wrong? They have to have the knowledge to be able to explain why they're wrong and to be able to put them right. And a good example there of problem solving. And as we move through, reasoning. This would be a good example of reasoning here. So looking at the following formulae, they have to think about there, it says which one is the odd one out. Put a ring around it, but most importantly, especially with maths, it's that ability to give reasons for their answer, to explain their thinking. And ultimately, with mastery, it's that deep understanding, as we said. That's what we want our children and our students to be able to do. If you've mastered it, you can teach somebody else because you have that deep understanding. But in most cases, it's emerging, it's developing, it's secure. That's where we are aiming for our students to be at the end of the year. Thank you.